All right, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. We'll wait, see if anybody jumps on. All right. And YouTube live here. Okay. Still getting to know my way around things with all this. Okay. I think that'll be the way. Okay. We're on live. Oh, let's stop that. That's not. Okay. We'll wait a few more minutes, see if anybody comes on. Just take a moment to get tuned into the energy. Tune into our state of being, our body, our mind, our emotions. Wherever we're at, whatever we're coming from right now. Okay. Let's begin. Okay, welcome to Andy on Path Healing Arts. We're going to practice some Tai Chi and Qigong exercises today. Get the body moving, get our energy flowing. I find that just as much as we want to organize our day and our calendar and our schedule and what's coming and going, it's also very important to take a few moments, even if it's just a few moments. It doesn't have to be a long practice, but to take some time to organize ourselves, and and organize our energy. So that's one of my favorite ways to do it. And even if you don't have time for the whole thing or do part of it, that's okay too. We all have different timelines and different things going on in our lives. So again, welcome. I'm Andy Barkworth, and I've been doing this stuff for over 30 years now, and it's been very important to me in my life and the way that I navigate being a human being. So this is part of how I take care of myself, and I hope you find something in it for you. And always pay attention to what's right for you. We're all individuals and we're all coming from a different place. So always adapt it, modify it, or just skip it if it doesn't feel right to you. So you are your own highest authority. Always honor that. And sometimes it might be even one of our favorite things to do, but today's body or today's state of being, distress or whatever, doesn't match up with some of the things that we might choose to do. So having a variety of things that we can go to, depending on where we're actually at and what we actually need, that's also important. So Happy New Year 2023. It's the first live stream of this ongoing Tuesday morning Tai Chi and Qigong class, 8 a.m. on Arizona time. And then Wednesday at 8 a.m. Arizona time is meditation, energy meditation. And Thursdays at 8 a.m. are Kung Fu Fit. So using Kung Fu training as a way for self-cultivation, but also for a form of physical fitness. So without further ado, let's get to it. Majority of what I'll share with you can be done in a small space. This way I've organized and designed some of the practices and adapted some of the longer, more intricate, difficult things to follow into something that you can do right in front of your screen. So just make sure you have enough uh, movement to the sides and to the front and back a little bit, and that you're not going to fall on anything. Just be sure to have a good safe place to practice, and eventually maybe create a peaceful practice space that is something, or within a few moves of furniture and whatnot, you can have a nice comfortable place to practice. So here we go. Call this adjusting breath. And we're going to expel the breath, let go of all the staleness, squeeze the breath out from the chest down into the belly with an universal sound of relief. Squeeze it out. Fill from the belly up to the chest. Hold it for a moment, suspend the breath, hold it in, squeeze it from the chest down into the belly with an sound. And if you need to be quiet, you can also make it more gentle, natural breath instead of a big, loud cleansing breath. Third deep cleansing breath. Gathering the fullness of the breath. Hold it in the body and squeeze it out from the top down. And then relax your breath. It's one of our greatest and most powerful ways to reset, to find the center, is through the breath. And let's activate the hands. Chi up. Clapping the hands together, rubbing the hands together. Well, those things are not necessary. They're just an exercise to help us. We feel the friction and the heat from the rubbing. You might even just place your hands together instead of rubbing them. Or you might only get so far and have to stop. That's okay. Breath into the belly. In Tai Chi and Qigong, we're on our feet a lot, and really, for the most part. So if we're ever standing still and that's not comfortable for you mentally, emotionally, or physically, then just feel free to move about a little bit or twist gently side to side, back and forth. And then just go ahead and let it all relax. And just take a moment to bring your awareness to your hands. Begin to focus your awareness, your attention into the body. Call this posture Yu Ding, to tune inward, to look inside. And that is the only place where we'll find what we're looking for. Bring the attention to the feet, the connection of your feet to the earth. Feel your body supported on the ground. You might be seated in a chair. Everything we do can be done seated. And just let the arms float down and just relax for a moment. You may have already had to let your arms go. That's okay. It can take time to develop the ability to hold postures. So you might be swaying back and forth or rocking forward and back. You might be twisting side to side as we're standing. You might be just kind of floating around. You might wiggle your toes or move your legs a little bit. And now let's activate the legs through dream walking, one of my favorite little exercises. And we're just going to clasp the hands one into the other, whichever one goes naturally. Do that. Gentle connection of the back of the wrists, back of the hands, the lower back, and then up towards the kidneys. Lifting one heel at a time, and just kind of start to feel into your own body. What feels right to me? Maybe I can press onto that foot a little bit. My heels, I'll turn to a diagonal so you can see better. Just kind of work it a little bit. Lift the other foot off the ground, the heel up. Work the ball, the toes a little bit. And with the feet about hip width apart, feet parallel, turned at the side. Lift one heel at a time. And it might be slow and deliberate. Might not bring the heel that far off the ground if you're working on flexibility and comfort in your feet. And always take it to the degree that's right for you. Let the hips move naturally a little bit side to side. And then as you begin, if your body likes what's happening and you want to pick up the pace a little bit, you can pick up the pace. It can be very rapid, and typically the faster you go, the less your heels will come off the ground. And while we're activating the legs, getting the blood flowing, lubricating the joints, we're also getting our energy flowing. The body acts like a pump. Just as the heart pumps our blood through our circulatory system and the lungs pump the breath, the body helps to move and pump the energy. And this particular one is helping to get us really connected to the earth. So anytime you need some grounding, this is a great way to get grounded. And slow it down and just relax everything. Shaking the branches of the tree. So we're just gonna, and again, you might have to be really slow and deliberate, especially if you have body pain and things going on. Just start to wiggle your fingers and roll and move your wrists and your shoulders and your body. Or like you're trying to flick water off your hands. Or you can imagine a dog shaking off some water. And as we shake the branches of the tree, just let your body feel it. And maybe you can lightly bounce into the knees, bounce into the feet gently. Just listen to the feedback of your body. What's right for you? What's the level of practice? How long can you go? Feel free to stop at any time, to stand or be seated. And just shaking off all the old stuff. And they were useful and purposeful as the tree shakes off its leaves, making room for new growth, for spring. And relax the body. Adjusting breath. Exhale. Imagine scooping the breath into the body, gathering, lifting it up. Imagine the hands pressing the breath out of the body from the top down. And if you can't breathe through your nose, breathe like sipping through a straw. Slowing down the intake. Feel the fullness. Gather what you need and let go of what you don't. Exhale. It doesn't have to be big cleansing exhale. It doesn't have to be loud. It could be gentle. Very good. Arms resting at the side. And we're going to bend one knee and then the other. Just kind of let the hip kind of go forward and back a little bit, bending the knee one at a time. And just let it begin to twist you a little bit side to side. Let your arms relax at the side. So the beginnings for the movement of trunk twisting. I want to feel my connection through my body. I want to begin to integrate the fullness of my body in my life. So even though I may have had to stop or adjust some of the things I used to be able to do, I still want to find the greatest level of diversity in my body movement. I want to do as much as I can in my body. And as I begin to integrate my lower and upper body as one, as I push off from one foot, it twists me to the side, and I feel a little more weight on the other leg. And I'm going to push off the ball of that foot, bend my other knee a little bit, and let that twist me and push me to the other side. And so my movement is happening from my feet. I'm pushing down to my feet from my core, and that's pushing back through my body, and that's twisting my body side to side. And just let your arms begin to go as if you're walking down the street. You wouldn't really think twice about it. Feet are about hip width apart, and just kind of let that be as slow and light and easy as you like. And if your body likes what's happening and you find a good rhythm and you want to go a little bit more, go a little bit more. And I'm also kind of like dropping down and pushing up as I'm twisting, pushing off from one leg to the other, letting that move through my hips, through my spine, to my arms, up to my head. And then as my arms go higher, if you have full range of mobility in your shoulders, as the arms come up and down, as I twist to one side, my palm will be up in the front, down in the back. You'll find this natural internal and external rotation in the shoulder joints that wants to take place. You might let your arms move diagonally instead. Maybe that's more comfortable. Or you might keep it really low, light, slow, and easy. And just give your body time to adjust, to build, to grow, to heal. Today's body is not the same as the one I was born in. It's not the same as I'll be in tomorrow or even one moment from now. My body is different. So I'm always trying to listen inward, tune inward. What feels good to my body right now? And that's what I want to do. And let it go and relax. Shake a leg. I've been standing, do about an hour, hour and a half of standing Qigong and meditation every morning, seated meditation, following, and other stuff throughout my day. So I'm quite used to that. So if you're getting used to it, you might even by now be seated, maybe on the edge of your chair. I actually like an ottoman because it kind of lets you work the space so you have freedom to move your legs and move your body as you might need to, but always just make it right for you. Now the same and similar kind of movement, I'm going to push from one foot to the other and let that kind of twist my body, and a little bit less of the bending of the knees and more focusing on twisting side to side. Again, that might be really slow, light, and deliberate. Pay attention to how your spine feels and continuing this connection and awareness. My feet on the earth as I push from one foot to the other. It turns and twists my body. And then just imagine like a swing carousel. If you ever seen one of those at a carnival or a playground, where as momentum generates from the turn, the extremities, the swings begin to move away from the center. And as we twist from one side to the other, we're just going to let the arms wrap around. Shoulders are relaxed. If my shoulders are getting tired, it's because I'm holding tension, or I'm actually moving my arms instead of turning my body. And I'm actually just going to relax the arms entirely and focus on twisting side to side. And initially, you might be more focused on the hip and pelvic area, or turning from the waist. But eventually I want to feel this connection all the way from the earth, all the way through my body. And the greater, more energy I put into it, the greater my swing becomes. But it's effortless in my arms. And it's always in the rate and range that feels good to my body. Trunk twisting. One of the things we're encouraging here is this spiraling motion, this rotational force, creating a little bit of torque and twist in the body, also called spiraling. Breathe into the belly. Over time, we'll talk a lot about the breath, and there's a lot of controlled breathing and deliberate kind of breathing, and then there's also the natural breath. And so I want my breath to be slow and deep into my belly. This is also the breath that occurs when we're in more relaxed and healing states, when we're out of fight, flight, and freeze and stress mode or trauma mode, and we're into that state of health, recovery, rejuvenation, and relax. It may take some work, take some time to get to those places, I'm over 3 decades into my training, and some of the stuff that I do now really only came into a level of comfort or interest for me over the last maybe 10 years, 5 years, couple years. It's always changing. So things that used to be challenging and difficult for me mentally, or emotionally, or physically now have become a lot easier. And though I might not do everything I did when I was younger, I find a way to do something like it so that I can get full expression on my body. And we're all in different bodies, so it's always relative to the one you're in. So let's go ahead and shake the branches of the tree, shake a leg, or step in place is another great way to ground. Putting your hands on your legs, your hips, your thighs, your knees if you're seated is also another great way to ground. So if you're starting to get energy and anxiety and you don't know where that energy wants to go and you're not sure what to do, you can try to ground that a little bit. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by breathing slow and deep, resets the nervous system. So let's do that. Exhale. Breathing from the belly up. Inflate. Exhale, squeezing from the chest down into the belly. And deflate as if your lungs are in your abdomen. Gathering up. Filling, gathering the breath and cleansing, releasing down. As if you could breathe the earth up into your breath, into your body. As if you could breathe the sky down through your body into the earth. Resting the hands on the thighs, a light bend in the knees. So there are things that I'll do for flexibility and strength training that I might not do or might not be appropriate for basic movement. So we're going to be focusing on how to move the body, how to create good, healthy mobility. So since I'm going to repeat this exercise over and over again towards motion, I'm going to make sure that my knees don't go much past or past at all my big toes. I'm not going in for a squat. I'm going to take the strain and tension off my knee joints. It's like a little stool behind you. You're just going to just sit on the edge of it, just a light seat. Arms relaxed. This is called riding the wave. And now as we straighten the legs, we're going to let the arms float up about shoulder height. And if you don't have that range of motion, then just take it as high as you can. Even if you just have to leave your arms resting on your legs, that's okay too. And then bend the knees and let the hands and the arms float back down. Over time, you can refine the details. But for now, we're just moving the arms up as we lengthen the legs and stand upright. And as we bend the knees gently, we're not going too deep, we let the arms float back down. As we continue to develop our body unity, that the whole body moves as one, though we have what seems to be separate parts. Everything is connected. It's one system. I'm going to move my whole body and get this pumping action. Breath into the belly. Breathing at your own pace at this time. And just let your body rise up, pushing off the earth from the feet, up through the body, up, out to the hands, up to the head, and just let it all come back down, grounding, rooting into the earth, sinking down, not bending too deep into the knees. And maybe only a few of these at a time for you. Maybe you have to rest. Maybe you're just building yourself back up. Maybe there's limitations in your movement or your energy. We're in for the long haul, the longevity of our practice. What's going to serve my body and my lifespan? So I can do as much as I can do for as long as I can do it. Breathing in and out of the belly. Legs lengthening as the arms float up. Bend the knees lightly as the arms float back down. And you continue to move at your own pace. You might move faster than me or slower than me. So the idea is that a slow and deliberate focused movement helps to calm the mind and the body. There are ways that we might move faster for different types of exercise, and this is about connecting into the body, the breath, relaxing the mind, soothing the emotional state. And you can continue to breathe at your own pace, in and out of the belly, or breathe with me. Exhale, adding in a controlled cleansing breath. Inhale as we rise. Exhale as we sink. Arms floating up like water rising. Buoyant, riding the wave. Arms floating down. Water sinking. If you can't breathe through your nose, breathe like sipping through a straw. And relax. And shake it out. Just slightly shaking it out. And if you can't balance and shake a leg, just step in place a little bit. Maybe move the body around a little bit. Maybe you need to take a seat, do something weird. Always make it feel right to you. Excellent. This is an exercise from Fire Flower Qigong. Fire Flower Qigong is based off the Ba Dua Jin, the 8 brocades, and this is a unique sit for our system through Grandmaster Sharif. And this is an exercise known as pushing the sky. Just do the best you can to follow along. My feet are parallel, about hip to shoulder width apart. Some people might be more comfortable a little bit wider, but we don't want to be too wide. We're not going into a wide, deep stance like a horse stance, and not too narrow that we're balancing with the feet too close together. So this is our natural posture for standing. And once again, adjusting breath. Exhale. A good inhale needs a good strong exhale. Squeeze it out. Fill from the belly up. Release from the chest down. As if the hands lift and scoop the breath into the body. As if the hands press and release the breath out. As if breathing from the earth and the feet up. As if breathing from the head from the sky down. Relax the breath. Palms facing the sky, connecting at the middle fingers, connecting the index and thumbs of each hand. And we're going to kind of, like if you brought your fingertips towards your belly button or your top of the hip line, we're going to move it down a little bit. It doesn't have to be exact. The most important thing is that you're not in pain or strain or distress. If anything causes those, then it is not the right thing at this time. Try something else for now, or only a little bit, or modify it. Pushing the sky. Open the palms, bend the knees and reach across. And if you can, touch your shoulders with the opposite hand. Go ahead and do that. If you can, dip your knees in a little bit. They don't have to touch and they don't have to come in at all. And you don't have to go down too far. We're not going too deep. Then release the arms, let the arms swing down, and if your knees are pointed in, let the hands part the knees. If the knees are already parallel, hip width apart, then just let them be. And now we're going to push up from the ground, let the arms rise alongside the body, but a little bit in front of the body, like you're hugging a giant ball. Then bend the knees and begin to rotate the palms to a diagonal as we bend down. And this one, we're going to go as deep as we can without squatting or causing pain, or without folding in half, rather. And then we're going to match up the palms above the head as we straighten the legs and rise into a vertical stretch, a vertical alignment. Matching up the palms and the fingers, I'll give you a side view. We'll interlace the ring and middle fingers, leave the pinky, index, and thumbs connected, but if your hands don't cooperate, don't worry about it. Just keep your palms together and reach up. If you can't reach up, reach out. If you can't reach out, reach down. So it's less about having the body match exactly what I'm doing. It's more about letting it be right for your body. And we're doing this vertical stretch and let the chin come down, stretching the back of the neck without force. Maybe for balance reasons or mobility, you just have to keep your head level looking forward. That's fine too. And if you can, let the head come back. Stretching the front of the neck, the throat. And now bend the knees and float down. Interlacing the hands behind the head, thumbs in the soft tissue at the base of the skull. It doesn't have to be exact. And you might have to have your hands maybe on your pelvis instead, if you can't have your arms up. Lift the chin just about level, lengthening the cervical vertebrae. Tip the tailbone under and forward just a little bit till you feel your lower back muscles relaxing, lengthening the lumbar spine. And now we lock. We bring the elbows back, squeezing on the back of the heart. Pressure from the arms puts pressure into the head, and then squeeze the belly, engaging the lower, middle, and upper cores, dantians, chambers. Release. Elbows forward, nice and relaxed. Now shift back briefly if you can without losing balance, or if you can, rock back onto the heels and then bring your feet flat. Bring the hands above the crown. And again, if you can't be up there, be wherever you can. You could push down instead of pushing up. That's okay. Or pushing out instead of pushing up. I'm going to roll the palms skyward, but not directly above the head because I'll feel a pinch on my shoulders. I'm going to let my shoulders roll forward a little bit. I'm going to push up at a slight diagonal. I'll give you a side view on this one. If you can, go up onto the toes as you press out. Again, you might be pressing forward or pressing down. Any of those are just fine. If you can hold up on the toes, do that. If you can't, that's okay. Release the elbows, separate the hands, and now we're going to point the index fingers towards each other and tuck the rest of our fingers and the thumbs, bringing us into a final upward vertical focus, and then bringing the arms out. Again, they're slightly in front of my body, as if tracing a giant sphere. Halfway down, connect the thumbs and index fingers, returning to my standing lotus position, and relax. One more time. Open the palms, bend the knees a little bit, cross the arms, and if you can, bring your knees in. Great. If you can't, that's okay. You could also do this seated on the edge of a chair. Release the arms. Press the knees gently out and begin to push from the earth up. Let the arms rise. And bend the knees and sink the weight as the arms continue to rise. Instead of just lifting my arms, I'm rolling and rotating my palms to a slight diagonal. I'm turning my thumbs behind me a little bit, and that keeps my shoulders nice and open as I root down and begin to reach up. And like a funnel pouring in through the arms from above, I reach up, lengthen the legs, match up the palms. Again, your arms could be anywhere that they need to be, even resting on your pelvis. If you can, interlace the ring and middle fingers. This is a hand posture or a connection. Helps to facilitate energy flow in the body. If you don't have to do it that way, it's okay. Reach up on the arms and lay the head back. If you can, keep the neck and head, eyes neutral if you need to. Focus on lifting the arms up, and if you can't lift the arms up, out, or even pressing down, it's all right. And chin forward, opening up this vertical alignment, the x-axis. And then bend the knees, bend the elbows, interlace the fingers, and let the hands float down. And again, you might have to take some variation of that posture depending where you're at. Hands behind the head. Align the spine and lock the cores. Lift the chin just about level. Slightly tucked though. Lengthens my cervical vertebrae. Tailbone tucks under and forward just a little bit. Feel the top of the hip bone go back just a little bit and activation in the thighs. Aligning the lumbar spine. Now, elbows and shoulder blades back. Might be a gentle squeeze, might be a firm squeeze. You'll feel pressure in the back of the head a little bit. The neck, squeeze the belly, engage the core. Squeeze the legs and relax. Just like squeezing a sponge. Squeeze and release. Now we're going to pump from the earth up to the sky, and we'll either shift back briefly or rock back, hands above the crown. Rotate the palms forward and up, pushing up at a slight diagonal, up onto the toes if you can. Easier for balance to look down slightly or straight ahead. Helps to spot something, focus on something in the room. Eventually, over time, you'll look up just underneath your hands, eventually looking up at the hands themselves. Release the elbows, separate the hands, point the index fingers towards each other. Doesn't matter if you can see your hands or not, if you're looking down or looking up. It's all the same. Or your arms are down instead of up, that's fine too. And then big circle out. And if your arms are already down, you can just let them be where they're at and relax. Once again, adjusting breath. Inhale, exhale. Practicing how to reset the body. Slow, deep breath engages the parasympathetic response, the relaxation response. Helps to gather more oxygen. Helps us to energize. And helps us to relax. Let it go. Relax the arms, relax the body, and just sway and move gently as you need to. You might take a seat even if you're tired of standing. Just take a moment to feel into the body. This is a similar practice that we would do in a yoga set after we work out the kinks in the mind and our emotions and our body. At the very end, go into corpse pose. We just find that place of stillness, of quiet, place of observation, being. How does this feel? What's going on inside me? What's happening in my body? And if standing still is difficult, then just shift and sway and move. Let's go ahead and do some more movement. Shake it out. Shake a leg. Shake a leg. Hands on the hips. We're just going to begin shifting side to side. One leg will lengthen. The knee will bend, but I'm not squatting too deep. And I'm letting my hips move side to side. My elbows are pointing out from the side of my hips. And now bring the body to the center and bend one knee. That hip will drop a little bit, rocking the hips side to side. The other leg straightens up a little bit, the hip pops up. And only to the degree that you can, what feels good to you, the rate, degree that's right for you, your body, as you move side to side, rocking the hips gently side to side, like a rocking chair leg. And focus on the knee bending. As the knee bends, it pulls the hip down. The other leg props up a little bit. As I bend that other knee, knee bends, the other leg pops up a little bit to compensate. And then now go ahead and relax to the center. Move the hips to one side and then begin to make a circle. Forward, side, The butt and the hips go back to the side and begin to make a circle. Hip revolutions, also known as stirring the pot. So imagine the hips and the pelvis are a bowl, a pot, and you're going to stir it as if the tailbone were the end of the spoon. And we're just gently, slowly stirring the pot, getting rotation in the hip joints. You feel the pressure move onto one leg, then to the heels a little bit, to the other leg, to the balls a little bit. Only as fast as what your body is ready for. And it might be very slow, light, easy, deliberate, more like hula hoop dancing here. Just take it to the degree that's right for you. And when you're ready to, slow it down and reverse the circle. Breathe into the belly. And just bring the sensations, the awareness of your feet on the earth and the transfer of body weight and pressure from various parts of the feet as your hips rotate. Breath into the belly. And when you're ready to, slow it down and let it return to the center. Hands on the hips, shifting side to side. And you might be moving slower or faster than me. And when you're ready to, bring your weight on one leg. And when we're moving a leg, we can slide the foot on the ground if we need help with our balance. We could step the toe in a little bit to help with our balance. Or if we're ready to, we can pick up the foot entirely and then place it back down on the ground. And once I do, I want to bring my body weight even between both of my feet. I can even just take a moment to check. If I'm looking down at my knees haven't gone past my big toes. I can do that for flexibility, but for mobility, though some movements will require that, we're going to keep it light and easy today. And then straighten up the legs, standing on the feet, and maybe you can't bring your feet all the way together. That's fine. Maybe you just stay in a natural stance instead. That's okay too. Maybe you're seated and you're just shifting your weight on your sit bones. That's fine too. Bend the knees, sink the weight, lower the center of gravity. Shift the weight onto the leg, lift the heel, and again you can slide the foot out, step the foot out, or lift and reach, guesstimating about hip width apart, hip to shoulder width, somewhere in there. Not too wide, not too narrow. And then we're going to find our balance right in the middle of the feet. I'm going to push off one leg one way, the other leg the other way, and let that meet me in the middle. And then relax from pushing and just let my body weight settle onto my feet. Shifting side to side. As I feel the pressure from one foot move to the other foot as my weight shifts. My body weight and center of gravity transfers from one side to the other. Breath into the belly. And then shift the weight onto the other side. Slide it in, step it in, or balance your weight in, feet together, and then bring the weight center. And again, you might not be exactly feet together, that's fine. My knees are still bent, so I have a lowered center of gravity. And now, from this place of balance and security, strength, now I rise up and balance. Key to not losing your balance and your movement in the world is to have the eyes and the feet going in the same direction. So if I turn and I don't turn my feet, I could get off balance, right? Or if I turn my feet and don't turn my head, I might bump into something or lose balance. So my head and my feet are going to always point in the same direction unless I'm doing something specific. There's ways around that, but it takes practice. So now I'm going to sink down between my feet, lower my center of gravity, then I'm going to widen my base. I'm going to add stability. I'm going to shift my weight, slide the foot out, step the toe out, or balance my way out, guesstimating hip width apart. And then I can always bring it in or bring it out as I need to. And then find myself right in the middle and find that place of balance and centeredness. Equal weight distribution, equidistant from my center, as if I had a root dropping from my tailbone. I'm right in the middle, equidistant. And now, shifting side to side. Shift the weight. Slide it in, step it in, or bounce your way in. Then bring the weight even, find the center, then come up. Drop down through the center. Lower the center of gravity, shift the weight. You might have to put your arms out to balance, slide, step, or bounce your way out. And then find the middle. Shift the weight to the other leg. Bring it in, slide it, step it, or bounce your way in. Then bring the weight even. Now I'm centered, now I'm even, now I can push up, now I can rise up. Sinking back down, opening up, and adjusting breath. It doesn't always have to be 3, but 3 is sufficient. It's like priming a pump. And let it go. Relax the breath. One final act of circulation and balance. We're going to reach out to the side and we're going to lift the arms up. And again, if you can't reach above your head, reach out in front, and maybe even it's just like a little thing right here in front of the lower body. That's okay too. You might not get all the way up there. Reach above the head and let the palms point down as the hands float down. And reach out as if scooping into the earth. Palms up as the arms move up. Palms face each other as they move towards each other. Palms down as the hands float down. And I'll give you an example of a lower posture that you could use. I could just scoop out in front and achieve a similar, same kind of circulation just by moving out here in front of my lower body or somewhere in between. One more time. Gather from the earth up. Add it to the sky pouring down. The atmospheric pressure. Feel the gravity of the body. And now using the body itself to push away from gravity, to push away from the earth, rising, palms facing up. Like you're swimming, arms out, palms down as they come down. The trick is if I'm moving with my arms in front of me, palms come up, and then as my hands move around my throat and my head, they need to rotate to continue to push up and out. And again, if I'm not able to go up and go out instead, or like I'm doing like a little bit of a wading in a pool, kind of circulating here lower in the body, that works too. One more time, up the center and out. And shake it out. Excellent. Thanks for coming out to play. Hope you enjoyed your practice. And we'll see you another time. Once in a while, I'll put these up on YouTube Live. I put other videos up on my website and my YouTube page on Path Healing Arts. And the way I set up my YouTube channel is my playlists are actually, I'll categorize different videos that I make. So some of them are focused on, stillness and meditation, or energy and relaxation, or more fitness movement. So I try to categorize them. I probably have too many categories, but eventually I'll work on that. But so you can find the videos you're looking for. All right, till next time. Be well.